All right, we are live. PrepperNet Live is live on the air. People are coming in, so just sit back and enjoy yourself. Tonight we got an unbelievable show, probably the best show I've done today. So it should be really, really good. I got Mr. Rent the chicken in the green room. He'll be out in just a minute. I got a few slides to go over, though. This is season 2. Welcome to season 2. This is the best season so far, if you ask me. Season 1 was 1 first, but this is 2. Hey, go buy my books, every one of them. If you don't have my books, you will die. Okay, maybe not, but go to Amazon, search my name. They're there. So I'm going to skip that slide. Hey, we have a premium membership and it's $40 a year. Oh, by the way, if I just disappear, that's because we have storms going everywhere around us. And I don't know if you hear the lightning or the house shake, but I just felt the house shake. But hey, premium, that's because you're not a premium member. My house is going to no, it's not going to be struck by lightning. But anyway, $40 a year. What's that? 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee. Go and join. It helps us in everything that we do. And then if enough people join, I can go to Italy for a vacation next year, which is not true at all, but it sounds good. So go join. So what's going on in PrepperNet? That's what's next. So, hey, every week we have something every single day of the month going on. If you're not involved, it's your own fault. But we have Zello nets, we have ham nets, we got HF net, we got every kind of net you can think of, even sisterhood. All the ladies get together and talk about all the men. I've never listened. They won't let me join, but I'm sure that's what they do. I promise that they have they have the cure for baldness and they just won't share it with us, and they go and talk about it and laugh at us. But that's hey, if you want any of that information, go to preppernet.net. Next is Prepper Camp's coming up in Saluda the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of September. That's about little bit a month away. It is going to be great. A lot of people are going to be there. I mean, like a lot of people that I know are going to be there. It's always fun. I always get so tired because I'm up from 7 till midnight and just talking. And I know talking is tiring. Okay. And I teach a couple classes, work the booth, run a marathon, just a few things during the day. So, but hey, if you want more information, go to preppercamp.com. They still have tickets available. The September 22nd, 3rd, and 24th. Be there. You're going to see hundreds and hundreds of PrepperNet members there. So again, that's coming up. What else is coming up? Oh, the big what do you call that? Oh, the bug out camp is coming up October 19th through the 22nd. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. Great campground. I think we have almost like the whole campground is ours. So go and join that. Go to preppernet.net. Ask for Beth. Beth is your answer to all questions pertaining to PrepperNet. If you want to know how many teaspoons go into a liter, you ask Beth. She knows all things. So anyway, that's coming up. Let's see what we got next. Oh, hey, if you're in a city and you don't have a group, it's not active, or you would like to start a group, who you going to call? You call Beth. So she is BG in the chat room. So go and say, hey, Beth, we already have a group, or we have a bunch of people that I would like to start a group. You call Beth. Beth is the answer to everything PrepperNet. So, and hey, if you're listening to this via podcast, you go to preppernet.net and you look for Beth. That's all you do. You don't have to be in the chat room live. You can literally listen to this driving down the road, go, I need to go to preppernet.net and search for Beth. There you go. That's a life hack right there. I just helped you out. So, hey, PrepperNet has a store. It's the most unbelievable store you've ever seen in your life. It's connected with Amazon. So we helped start Amazon many, many years ago, and just so we could have this store. So if you go to preppernet.com, notice the difference there? Not .net, .com/Amazon. You'll be able to find our store. You'll click on the link. It'll take you to Amazon. But yeah, it was a lot of work to get our own store and many years. And so now we have it. So make sure you go. Every time you buy something from there, we get filthy rich. We make like 3 or 4%. And that 3 or 4% literally buy things like banners and pins, stickers, all kinds of things cool for PrepperNet. So go do that. Tell your mama Christmas is coming up and she needs to go to that site and help PrepperNet out. Actually, you can buy all your Christmas presents right there on Amazon and not even have to leave the recliner. How great is that? So we help make recliners like 50 years ago, and Amazon, and we let Apple do their thing. So hey, help us out. Next is, hey, the Ham Academy. Everyone's getting their ham license. If you're not getting your ham license, that's because you are not cool. The ham license is, we had a whole show on it a few shows back. Go and watch it. It's on the PrepperNet channel on YouTube. And I go through every step you need to take to get your ham license. So we also, if you go to preppernet.net, man, I'm saying that a lot. Might be a good reason I'm saying that. We have a whole section to help you get your ham license. So we're going to do some training. We're going to have an equipment list. We're going to do everything that you can imagine with ham radio. Maybe even put it between bread. I don't know. Hey, so the next night is the September 3rd. It's going to be a status update. You should have your appointment to take your test. You should be studying, and we're going to talk about that on September 3rd. So join us on September 3rd. Okay, things have changed on our calendar, guys. Sorry. It's kind of, look at this as a living, breathing calendar. Kind of like some people think the Constitution is, which it's not. But so if you can look here on August 22nd, we have the Rent a Chicken Man. He is on tonight in the green room. Phillip Tompkins. Am I saying that right? I'm struggling with that. I can barely see it because it's such small print on my little laptop in front of me. Then next we have Ham Night. That's September 3rd. I just told you about that. On September 10th, we have Scott Hunt, which is Engineer 775. And the question that he's going to cover, do you really want to go off grid? And we're going to talk about that. He builds billion-dollar bunkers underground and in the sky. It's crazy what this engineer guy does. So he's going to be on September 10th. Then we're going to have the third night of the Ham Night. And maybe we may even have a disco ball with that night. It's kind of like the celebration time. You should have your ham license, take the test, break out the bottle of wine. And so that's September 17th. Then we're going to be gone. Prepper camp. Told you about it. I won't be there. Then October 1st is Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. It's medicine hour. All the medicine and drugs that we can take. All the drugs you can have. So we're going to talk about all things medical with Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. And then October 8th is Dr. Arthur Bradley. Again, he's a great guy. Love Dr. Bradley. He's a good friend. He's a NASA engineer. Well, there's a lot of us out there, but I'm not a NASA engineer. I used to pretend to be one. He's a NASA engineer. He's an author. He's an EMP and CME expert. He's coming online with us on October 8th. And then I've got a very special guest. I'm not sure if you ever heard a guy named Selko. He is an amazing survivor. He tells his story of the Bosnia War and how he survived. He's just unbelievable. His stories I'm telling you, you need to be here for that. I'll be interviewing him, and we'll be actually playing that as a recording. Sorry that, but there's such a time difference. You guys really don't want to do 8:30 in the morning. So what we decided to do is I'm going to record that. But on the ham night number 3, the last part of that, I'm going to take everybody's questions, and then I'm going to ask the questions. So it's going to be like you're there. I mean, like if you close your eyes, you won't even know that he's really not answering the questions. So we're going to get your questions and send them to Beth, the answers to Beth. But anyway, that is on the 15th. Then we're going to have a bug out camp on October 22nd. I'll be there. You should be there too. The 29th is emergency comms. We're going to teach you something that's going to be amazing, and how we're going to communicate with everyone in PrepperNet for like under $150. You'll be able to receive everything that we transmit, and all of a sudden you're going to feel like you're part of the team. And that's what really matters, being a part of the team. Okay, and then November 5th and 12th, we're going to do 2 shows on home-based businesses. This is kind of a kickoff, a little bit about home-based business, but wait until I show you something I did this weekend. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to come back November 5th, and it's a revenue generator that is like top-notch, like Donald Trump style. So that will be on November 5th and 12th. And then I think Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy is going to come back in on November. Scott Hunt's coming back in on December. So there's going to be a lot going on. So with all that said, I need a break now. Not sure. Oh, so I got some couple of videos I need to show you guys. So I've picked 2 videos. I always pick a couple. They're so funny. I just can't stop. I love this. Is my favorite part. So anyway, again, hey, if you're on a podcast, you can catch us at where are we? We're on YouTube, PrepperNet channel. We record live every Sunday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the first video is, I got 2 videos. They're kind of like the same video, but it's just hilarious. I just think it's hilarious. This guy, you're going to see this guy. I'm going to kind of set it up. He is a professional bodybuilder, like top notch. And he goes into gyms and pretends that he's the janitor. So look at some eye-opening things that this guy does, and look how everyone sees it. So here's the first video. Again, he's a janitor, but he's a major serious professional bodybuilder, but he doesn't look like it. So anyway, let's check this out.
Two seconds, please. It's Mr. Muscle.
So the dude thinks, what the heck is he doing? He's working out with this weight, and this guy just gets it and moves it to the side. It's hilarious. And the next video, kind of the same, but it's just hilarious. This face on the people are just shocking.
Get it.
Give me just 2 minutes, please.
Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I fit it up. Hop in my car. No squad shaking my
Just 2 minutes, guys.
No breaks, we go, come on. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I
like
fit it
this.
up. Hop in my car and let's get it. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up.
It's a deadlift, yes? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Just clean. I'm sorry. You can do. Let's go.
I think it's hilarious. They're just sitting there going, these guys are big old muscle guys, and he doesn't look big. Maybe it's the onesie he has on, and he just goes and moves all that way, and they're like, what the heck? It's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. You should think it's hilarious. Okay, next, people that you need to follow. This guy is one of my favorite people on the internet. I'm telling you, he's one of my favorite. It's not the rented chicken guy. So sorry about that. But this guy is awesome. And he goes by the Warrior Poet. And his whole site is called the Warrior Poet Society. He's like a man that says, hey, you can have grace, you can have dignity and style, and still be a gun-toting machine and all into prepping. And it's amazing. He has an app called the Warrior Poet Society. It's an app's $99 a year. Some of the best training when it comes to weapons I've ever had in my life. I'm telling you, I've told people about it. That app you can get on the, the Apple. But he also, he's just amazing. Good family man. You need to follow him. He's great. And also, since we're going right into the book of the week, last thing, then we're getting to the Rent the Chicken Man. So the book of the week is his book. It's called The Warrior Poet Way. And The Warrior Poet Way is a guide to living free and dying well. I mean, he is the man. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him, but you need to follow him. He's an inspiration, and that's, the Warrior Poet. So I'm not sure if I have that book in our Amazon store, but it will be later. So anyway, without further ado, this dude he was born in 3 nations. He has now lived and traveled the world like you wouldn't believe. He has like feathered friends that he just hangs out with. He has a company that he rents chickens. And if you can have a company that rents chickens and you get them back alive, you're doing something right. Because if I had a chicken, I'd be eating a chicken. Matter of fact, I had chicken tonight. But he was on the Fox News. He was on Tucker Carlson Fox. He's so famous that he was so incredible on Tucker. They had him on every segment on the next day on Fox. It was, like every hour they were going to the Rent a Chicken and his wife. They just stand there looking like they know what they're doing. It was crazy. But he is the Rent a Chicken man. He is our city leader for Pittsburgh. He is going to be live with us when I click this button right here, and that's his wife. Hey.
Oh, man, Forrest, thank you. So, I was looking at that list of NASA engineers, bunker builders. You had ammo.com on, you've got doctors, and now you want to talk to me? Like,
you're the Rent a Chicken man. Rent the Chicken man. Phil.
Man, thank you.
You're famous. You might be one of the most famous people we have because you're the only one that's been on Tucker Carlson and on Fox News all day long.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get on Tucker these days.
Yeah.
He's very exclusive now.
I guess he's on X now. Is that where his new platform is?
Yes, that's all he does now.
Yeah. So. But hey, thank you for coming on. Now I do want to go back here. Let's see if I can get it back. Now that is your wife, correct?
Yes, that's Homestead Jen.
Homestead Jen.
Homestead Jen. That's right. That's what we go by.
Y'all were dressing and matching outfits, which is cute. Good job on that. Homestead Jen. What's your name?
Homestead
Chicken.
Phil.
Homestead Phil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody in Rent the Chicken, and by the way, I'm jumping the gun here, but we are international. We've got
oh my goodness
in Canada.
Okay.
We've got farmers all over the United States, and every farmer is called a homesteader. And as we get into this, right, as we start talking a little bit more about what this business is, I want to give you everybody that's listening a teaser, right? This business is more than just having a business. This is a prepper's dream when you really look into what we're doing. So we'll get into that in just a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I do want to clarify, everyone, anything he says, I'm not liable for, because I don't know what he's going to say. But no. So you're a city leader in Pittsburgh. How did you find PrepperNet? Let's start with that. How did you find us?
Man, I was looking for something a little bit different, and I think a long time ago, years ago, you had a little bit of stuff on Facebook. Okay. And that kind of got me over to MeWe and looking. And then all of a sudden I found the PrepperNet.com, PrepperNet.net. I'm like, what is this? And then the previous city leader of Pittsburgh, Keith, he was like just jumping gun ho into it. And then him and I started going on. He had some health issues, had to step away and do some other things, but that's basically how it was. I was looking for people that were like-minded, that were wanting to do more than just following what the news tells you to do.
Right. Yep. That's kind of sad that you found me when you were looking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, got some questions right here, but hey, thanks for coming on, by the way.
Thanks
and thank you for being a city leader. Cause that is one of the best jobs in the world you can have. So did you have a corporate type job, or, I mean, how long ago did you start homesteading?
Yeah. So, I spent 20 years working in information technology. I could restore email systems and databases and all this fancy stuff. And I really didn't like what I was doing. I did it because it made me money, right? But I was also in that rat race. You know what I'm talking about? Like paycheck to paycheck, just like, man, something happens, something goes wrong. You know, the thing about being a W-2 employee that everyone needs to understand, right? You think your job is secure. Your job is not. You could be fired tomorrow. When you're an employer, you do everything you can to shield your employees from knowing what's really coming down the road if it's bad, right? So if you think that you've got this tenured job, that you've been working a long time, that you're going to be set up for retirement, everything is going great, you might show up tomorrow, and God willing, it doesn't happen, right? You might show up tomorrow, job's done. That's it. Anyway, so that's what happened to me. Energy company merged with another energy company. Two big titans came together, and I lost my job, right? Wow. And it gets even more in depth into this, right? A week before, my pastor came to us and said, I'm challenging everyone in this room to start tithing if you don't currently tithe 10%. My wife and I, we said, okay, we're going to do this. And I didn't really mean to jump on this tangent, but I'm going to jump into it anyway, right?
Go for it.
We did. And he said, if God doesn't change your life, I'll give your tithe back.
Whoa.
The next week I was fired. God changed my life, but you know what? We kept tithing. Things happened. We ended up moving to Pennsylvania 10 years in 2013. We started our business, and we've just been exploding ever since then with
exploding.
Yes,
I get it. So I mean, okay, so you got chickens in the back, and you're thinking, and you and your wife are going, I wonder if we give one of our chickens to our neighbor, that they don't have to come ask for an egg. They can just have the egg right there. I mean, how did that concept of, first of all, I'll tell you, I would never dream that you could rent chickens and make money and make a profit. But how do you think, I'll just give you some chickens and you can have your own eggs and you just pay me for the chickens? How did that come up? Just right. I got to know.
So we moved to Pennsylvania. And I'm still working in IT remotely. My wife is working remotely. Her job's coming to an end. It's expected. It was a contract position. And late one night, I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm on my phone and I'm Googling crazy business ideas. And someone in Alabama who's no longer in business was renting out chickens.
Wait, right? That's beyond crazy, by the way.
Yeah. And now
was there lunatic one? Okay, go ahead.
Now, when you Google crazy business ideas, we come up in the search. So
nice.
And so I leaned over. I said, Jen, she wasn't Homestead Jen then. I'm like, Jen, what do you think about renting out some chickens? And she's like, yeah, we've got a few, and I can use some power tools and stuff like that. And that's how Rent the Chicken was hatched, right? We jumped into the market. That first year was just kind of exploratory. We're trying it out. We couldn't give chickens away, by the way. couldn't give them away. Nobody wanted them. Finally, we found a renter, but and then the news got wind of it. They called us up. The AP press picked it up. It went all over. 2014, we rented out 54 chicken coops, our first full year in business. We started in 2013 as a soft opening. And this last year we did, I think I delivered like 80 coops. And now we also hatch chickens, right?
Okay.
So you can hatch chickens at your home, your school, your daycare. But with this rent the chicken program, it's really simple. In fact, if there's anybody here that's interested, you got a little bit of land, you think you want to start a home-based business, go to rentthechicken.com on the right-hand side, contact us. But we rent out coops from spring till fall. We include the coop, the feed, the chickens, all the supplies, everything you need, and we deliver it to your house. You can chicken out at any time. We'll pick them up. Otherwise, at the end, you can adopt the birds, and we become your chicken friends. And then the other side is our hatching program. It's a 5-week hatching program where you get to hatch baby chicks at your school, daycare, senior care facility. Senior care facilities are amazing, by the way. If you can get into those, they're great. And then you hatch them. And then after the 5 weeks, I take everything back. So you don't have to figure out what to do. So on the prepping level, think about this for a second, right?
Right.
I've got all these chickens. I've got all this chicken food. I have a resource right there here at the homestead. If something happened around here, I'm feeding my neighbors breakfast for the next 3 or 4 months, maybe even the next 2 or 3 years.
Yes. So now I want to clarify something. If someone wants to rent the chicken,
yes,
you could help them with that on your website. Yes. And you said if someone had chickens and they want to be a part of your program, could they be part of your program renting chickens out as well?
Absolutely. If you want to start a home-based business where you're in control of your future, we help people do that. We give them a foundation of everything they need, right? The marketing materials, our logo. We've got brochures. We've got classes that we do about how to, put on trade shows, all kinds of stuff. And if you go to our website, we're all over the place. We're in Toronto, we're in British Columbia, we're in Texas, we're in California, we're in Georgia. I'm looking for people in Florida, especially Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. I'm not really down in there. I'm in part of Georgia, so there's some Georgia areas open. And we give people territory. South Carolina, if you're in South Carolina, if you're in the Asheville area, there's a lot of areas that you can reach. Idaho, Montana. So yeah, we're definitely looking to expand our business and to help bring you up. Oh, I've got lots of yolks. They're going to crack you up, especially if you're in a foul mood.
Okay. Did you see Pistol Pete's message just a second ago? I forgot what it was here. It was poultry in motion.
Yes, poultry in motion.
Yeah, you've heard them all, huh?
Poultry in motion. That's right. Yeah, in fact, Pistol Pete's a little upset right now because there's a net that's happening right now.
Oh,
digital net, and I'm right here. And last time we were on, I was talking about ham radio stuff. So sorry, Pistol Pete. I'll have to check in tomorrow.
Well, I can't believe that Pistol Pete and Beth's in here. So there's a lot, and you're here. So we're taking a lot of the ham nerds. The ham guys out of the net right now. So you started this business. And it was just a home-based business in the beginning, just a couple of coops, but you did 54 your first year. Was that you alone that did 54, or were you already recruiting other farmers?
No, that was just us. We built 54 coops. We delivered 48 of those 54 in 2014, our first full year. And that's really when we found out that this was more than a hobby. In fact, I want to read something here for you. This amazing author wrote this, right? He said, no matter how much you love your hobby, you must look at it through a good pair of reality glasses. Does the hobby honestly earn you the money you wish to make? Never forget, one of the primary goals of your business is to make a profit. And if you don't have this book, you need to go ahead and get it, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Anyway,
Well, I'm kind of blushing because as you're reading that, I'm like, wait, that could be mine. And then I didn't want to say anything. And then you brought my book. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was mine. Because I was like, yeah. So you actually underlined that? That's crazy. Or marked it up?
I marked it, and you bet it's actually in the section where you're talking about egg prices and having an egg business.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. So I bought the book when you released it. I read through it. I've read a lot of entrepreneur books. I'm not just saying this because I'm here. That book is a great book for foundational knowledge of starting a business. Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you for saying that. And I'll send a check in the mail. No, thank you for saying that. But you know, I really wrote that for preppers because a lot of people, there's a time coming that people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to be, they're in debt. They need to do a home-based business. You know, I have many home-based businesses. I really do. And some of them, some of them actually make money. Other ones are for fun, but it is to be completely off the grid, out of the system. You need to control your own future and
Yes.
and your own money flow. And the only way and that's what you do. You don't have a boss. You don't have to go in, or your chickens, I guess, could be your boss. You have to go in at a certain time and feed them, but it's and you love doing it, I suppose. And it's like the best of every world. You get paid, and you're your own boss.
It's a lot of work, and anybody that says, oh, I want to work for myself so I can set my own hours and so I can do what I want to do. There's half truths there, because I've got obligations to customers that I have to meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to, just like any other home business, I've got to keep striving and pushing myself forward, and trying to, let me read another little section in this same book that I was just reading from. It says, your goal is controlled growth. You need to plan for this happening in a way that you have domain over. The last thing you need is to be on your back foot. Don't react, act. And in small business, you have to be, if you are reacting to things that are happening around you, you missed it. You lost that money, right? You've got to be proactive. You got to be having a vision of where you are going. And that's all of life. That's not just,
Yes.
business. That's also in prepping, right? Do I have my food store? Do I have my ammo stores? What's my bug out plan if there's a forest fire? What is it if this is happening? Am I staying home? Do I have a camera system? Do I have alert perimeter around my house? Do I have hedges? Do I have fences? Do I know my neighbors? Do I like my neighbors? Are my neighbors crazy? Are they going to be part of my, it's you don't want to have to react after something has already happened in business, right? You want to be proactive. You want to get out there. You want to make it happen, because nobody's going to make it happen unless you make it happen. When you are your own boss, you are the boss, right? So
Yes,
it's got to happen.
So is your boss mean to you?
She loves me. She loves me. She cooks me dinner. She helps me out.
I'm apprehensive to tell this story, but I think I'm going to. So I had a friend, him and his wife actually read that book to their kids. And one of the young girl wrote a business plan. She's 12. And her business plan was simple, but she was going to make some jewelry that she was going to sell on Etsy. And she wrote down that she wanted to make $100 a month. Her mom and dad kind of laughed and like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, we'll help you all we can. And just, I guess it was a week and a half ago, they came by where my office, and she made $300 last month.
Awesome. That
Ain't
is
that crazy? This 12-year, I think she's 13 because she turned, she had her birthday not too long ago. She's 13 and she made $300 in 1 month by making some jewelry and simple. I mean, it's not like
yeah.
these stones or anything. It's just that these other people liked it and they started buying it.
Yeah. Etsy, you know what? Talking about Etsy, since we're hitting this, that is an amazing platform. In fact, we also have an Etsy store. It's called thechickennetwork.com. And we've got an Amish guy. He builds swing sets for chickens, monkey bars for chickens, teeter-totters for chickens, picnic tables for chickens. And I, you know, I mean, I don't even want to talk about how much I'm
Oh
making
my
just on
goodness.
that business, but it's enough when I'm like, hey, I need a couple extra spending dollars. You know, I
Right.
write myself $1,000 out of that checkbook, and then I go, you know, buy that next whatever it may be, and just, you know, enjoy life.
That's crazy. Let me ask you, does he make a plate for chickens?
Well, he makes this picnic table, okay? It's like a picnic table, but
Okay.
the edges are lifted up. So you put the treats in the middle of the picnic table, and the chickens, so they don't spill out, the chickens walk up and eat off the picnic table.
Nice. Nice. That is
Uh,
crazy. And that, so you and what's that Etsy store name? I'm gonna write that down.
thechickennetwork.com. And everybody watching, everybody should have chickens as part of your preps. If you live anywhere where you can have chickens, you can hide them in your backyard if you're not allowed to have them. There's ways to do it, right? But you're looking at a bird, right? A chicken can eat up to 80 ticks in an hour, right? Natural tick control. They will alert you to like what's going on. If somebody's around, you can hear them clucking. If you get into geese, a goose is like a guard dog. If you didn't know that, they will quack. And the average person doesn't realize that the goose is making noise and that I hear it and I know there's something going on in my yard.
Now, do you have anything to protect the chickens, like dogs or goats or llamas or I forgot. There's another animal that protects chickens.
I mean, dogs, donkeys are protectors. But what I just have a fenced in area. And then when they go to bed at night, I've got automatic doors that close. They run off like 3 AA batteries, and those batteries last like a year. So it closes behind them. And that's what I do to keep. And the run is covered so that something can't swoop down and have chicken for dinner. You know, Forrest, everything likes chicken for dinner.
Yes. Yes. How many total chickens do you have? I mean, total. That out and
yeah. So we usually start off our year with young chickens every year, and we start off just in the Pittsburgh area around 200. But if I count all of my farmers and everybody that's part of Rent the Chicken, we hatch somewhere between maybe 1,500 and 2,000 hatches this year. Here in Pittsburgh, I'm going to be around 180, maybe 190 hatches by the end of the year, which is also replenishing, right? We talk about self-sustainability. Every time I send out hatching, I'm getting these chicks back. I get to sell them. I get to raise them if I want.
Right.
If they need to be a food source for me, they can be a food source for me. I also have all the incubators so that if something did happen and I needed to hatch a bunch of chickens, it takes 21 days for a chick to hatch. I could probably have about 150 chicks in 21 days if I needed to hatch chicks right now. So now it does take up to 6 months before they lay their first egg or crow. On that side, 1,500 to 2,000 hatches. And on the Rent the Chicken side, we probably rent out anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 coops a year right now at our current level. Again, sustained growth. We want to have a system that allows us to continue to grow in a managed way. And I'm just waiting for Purdue or Tyson to give me a call one of these days and want to buy me out.
Right. Yeah. So I do have a serious question though.
Yes.
Is there any issues with the bird flu here recently? Is that kind of kind of calmed down, or I don't know
Well,
where that is on that.
all my chickens are safe. They're all wearing masks.
Oh.
So now, for real, bird flu is a real thing.
Mhm.
But it's the fear factor has to do with mass egg production. If I have a facility that's pumping out 100,000 eggs a day or
Mhm.
more, and I get the bird flu, that egg production goes to zero. I've got to
Right.
terminate all those chickens. We've got to bury them, burn them, get rid of them, biohazard, clean out the facility, and then get chicks. And it's going to take 6 months before that egg business is back into business. So the reason why the bird flu is so that the government pays so much attention to it is because it is part of the food chain.
Mhm.
Now, if I get the bird flu here, right now, most of my chickens are gone. They're at people's houses. So I might lose 30 birds.
Right. Okay.
Not a big deal at all, right? But if that bird flu spreads because it is airborne, they tell us that it can spread up to a 2-mile radius in the air. They tell us a lot of things. So
Right.
believe what you need to believe. I know this is on YouTube, so I'm not going to potentially get the video knocked off for what I might say. But in California, just a couple years ago, they literally were having helicopters fly over to identify where chickens were, and then they were going to those people's homes. And if they were within a radius of another bird that had, it was Newcastle disease, I believe, at the time.
Okay.
If they were within that radius, they would terminate those birds and then start a new radius from 2 miles from those chickens. And they kept doing that again. It's to protect big business, right? Big business is going to lose if the bird flu or one of the other ailments hits their facility. So biosecurity is important for everybody, whether you have goats, turkeys, horses, whatever it may be. I don't let people that have chickens onto my property unless I know who they are, and I keep them away. Like they're not going to walk into my chicken pen, for instance.
Right. Okay.
Just for biosecurity reasons.
Right. Yep. So as a home-based business that has grown into a major business, what's one of the hardest things you had to learn?
Oh, hardest things I had to learn. I would say learning to keep moving forward. It is so easy to let your business just be stagnant, right? To get to a level where you're like, I'm happy at this level and not grow, right? And you know what? Maybe you decide to open up a convenience store and you only want to have one of them, and you're helping out the community. Whatever. Maybe that's your goal. That's fine. But you really should be thinking about the next level every single time. Like, what is next for me in my business? So here with Rent the Chicken, we've expanded to, we've got all these customers. So I deliver chicken feed to people. There's a Mennonite farm up the road. I go get a couple tons of feed, and then I deliver the feed every month. I'm making deliveries. Right. So that was something I didn't have 6 years ago. We also discovered and having vision, right? Figuring out what the next thing is. Pretty soon on our Etsy store, you're going to be able to, now don't crack up over this. Okay. You're going to be able to buy a wheelchair for your chicken. You're like, why does somebody need a wheelchair? Yeah. Well, people love their birds so much that when they get injured with a hip injury or something like that, they want to try to heal them up. So I'm working with an Amish guy, and we're making a special wheelchair just for injured chickens to recover.
You could just get a Barbie doll pink Cadillac, put them in that, and then just zoom them around with, remote control, right?
So hopefully in the next 7 to 14 days, you're going to see that up on the chickennetwork.com.
So how did you how did you get on Tucker Carlson? I mean, you bypassed all the the small stations and the ones that no one
Oh man.
watched, like CNN and MSNBC, and you
Well,
just passed all them and went right straight to Tucker Carlson,
I mean, in the last 10
the
years,
number one show.
I know the number one,
Yeah,
like
number
5
one.
million views a night. Now he's got like
Yes.
100 million views a night. The marketing, you have to get your name out there. You have to be consistent about getting your name out there. If you go to rentthechicken.com and you click on news, you're going to see that not only Fox, but we've been interviewed by ABC, CBS, NBC, CBC, BBC. We even had Russian television like 8 years ago interview us. I was interviewed by just this year. I don't know, maybe they were spying on me or something. I don't know, some Chinese communist news program that was the equivalent of CNBC, supposedly, wanted to interview us. So
Wow.
right? So I have no idea where any of that footage went. But we've also been written by, the New York Post, New York Times, the New Yorker just did a piece on us. Some news agency out in London Times or something like that, just in the last couple months reached out to us. So having your information out there, right? Having something unique. Like the farmers that saw me when I first started my business laughed at me. They just laughed. Who's going to rent chickens? In fact, my father-in-law for the first year didn't tell me his thoughts on it. And he basically said with some explicitives, that's the stupidest idea ever is what I thought. And replace those words with whichever ones you want. And then he goes, I was wrong. Right. So when you are thinking about when you are thinking about your business opportunity, right, map it out. Think about it. Don't let people say that's not a good idea. Now, granted, if you're doing something that everybody else is doing in the market and you don't really have that niche that sets you apart, if you're going to be the next leaf gutter business, you're not going to have the influence that you're going to have from, something like what I'm doing with renting out chickens, right? So you've got to find something that people are excited about. You've got to find now you have to know your demographics, right? The demographics for our product in general is not the same demographics on how I vote, for instance. But I'm okay with that, right? Because this is about helping people with what I'm doing. I'm offering a service to help people. I'm helping people have chickens that have never had chickens. So what is it that you are doing with your business that's going to help people? Because when you're helping somebody, you're making money. Right? The gas station helps you by having gas there for you to fill up your car. The grocery store helps you by having groceries and having what you want, hopefully, unless it's toilet paper and it's 2020.
Right.
But that's really where you got to be when you're figuring out your business.
So it's interesting because everyone and their brother has a sign out of their little homestead that says fresh eggs. And they're barely making enough money by selling fresh eggs to feed their own chickens and get the.
Yeah, you've got to know your costs. How much are they selling the eggs for?
$4 or $5, which is, I mean, I don't have a clue. Actually, I think the last I bought was $5 a dozen, which it's 5 times more than Walmart, but I think it needs to be more. Yeah. I don't know.
When the eggflation happened, right? We went from eggs being 89 cents a dozen, the cheap ones.
Yep.
And those same cheap ones were like $2.89 a dozen. And I always said to myself, how does a farmer make any money off 89 cents a dozen eggs? Because the egg carton costs 10 cents.
Right.
Now you're down to, 78 cents or 79 cents. The transportation for those eggs, okay, 2 or 3 cents. Anyway, the middleman, the the store clerk, all these people. I'm like, the farmer can't be making more than 10 cents a dozen. What's the point if you're not making money?
Exactly.
So obviously they're doing it with volume. Now for us, we provide a lot of stuff, right? We're generally, people are going to do the math on our, so I'll talk about, because there's some people out there that do the math. We charge about $15 a dozen for eggs. That's about what it turns out to be. And, but you're getting
the experience is crazy.
The experience, you're getting chicken friends. If something happens to your chicken, you call us. We're the experts on what to do, right? So everybody has a friend that has a dog, right? So if you have a dog and I have a dog and I have a question, I ask you, you might know, or you know somebody that knows, or you tell me what vet to go see. Not everybody has a friend that has a chicken. I am your chicken friend.
So I got a business idea. Let me throw it at you. So I have an alligator.
Yes.
And if I could rent alligators out for home protection, it's like having a security guard.
Yeah, absolutely. It probably violates a number of federal laws, but yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
well, okay. I got to think through a little bit of that business plan. So so it's still working on that one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the other thing that people always, they say, well, what if a customer eats the chickens while you're having, I'm like, well, that's one expensive dinner.
Right.
You get breakfast every morning. I love breakfast. You only get one dinner.
Yeah. So you would agree with me. Don't start a business that you're making pennies.
Yes.
I mean, selling eggs on the side of the road, if it's whatever you're selling it for, you're not going to get rich. Sure, you can bring in some cash, but you got to have a lot of chickens to make a lot of money in that. So you need to start a business kind of with the end in mind. I mean, start a business that that it's okay that Ralph across town's doing this business and he's been doing it for 5 years. That tells you that business is probably a good business if he's doing it for 5 years.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to copy someone else of what they're doing, and read and study, but don't start a business. I mean, I just hate a lot of people, home-based business people. They go, hey, I'm starting a business. They tell me their business, and it's so hard to sit there and go, okay, that's an extra $300 a month. That's great. But you're never going to make more than $500 a month. That could be your goal, but why not focus and change something just a little bit? Instead of doing the eggs, you're written the whole things. You just changed the concept, and now you're renting, a ton of birds, and you're getting paid for it.
The one thing that I find where small business owners fail is they work their 9-to-5 job, and then they do their small business. If you want your small business to succeed, quit your day job, because that will force you to move to the next level. And
see, they already like my alligator business. They say it tastes good.
It does. It does.
Protection and food.
But if you quit your day job, you're going to be focused on making money. And the other thing is price your product accordingly, because so many people are like, well, I want to do it cheaper than everybody else. Don't do it cheaper than everybody else. You're not everybody else.
Right.
Do it so that you make money, that they know your brand, that you stand behind it, that you get loyal customers that love to talk about you, right?
Yep.
You need to make, if you've got kids, you got to pay for softball practice. You got to send them to basketball games. You got to get them in sports. If it's just you and your wife and you need to, have your some money for preparing or having that garden or going on vacation, you should not be sacrificing a vacation because you want your program to be cheaper than everybody else's.
Right. Yes. There's so many different home businesses people can get into. And right now is the time, because
absolutely
things are going to get a little tough here and kind of squirrely. coming soon, and you need that extra. Everyone needs that extra income.
And you need a business that is recession proof.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes.
you figure out what that recession, like automotive stores, right? Tire shops.
Yes.
Tire shops are recession proof. Why? Because no matter what happens, people are still going to buy tires, no matter what.
Yep.
I got a flat tire. I'm getting now. They might only buy one, but recession proof business. Think about that.
So I'm helping a guy right now. He's trying to create that recession proof business. And we sit down and thought and looked at his skills, and he's a very good trainer. He loves training and teaching. And he goes, well, that's not really recession proof. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So when people are making less money or their money's not going as far as it used to go, they're scared about maybe losing their job, maybe training them to make other avenues of money or revenue streams. People would pay for that. I said, that's totally recession proof. And all of a sudden he goes, really? So he's doing some online, he's going to do online training and in-person training. And I'm like, dude, you're taking my idea. No, but he is so excited now because he's taken something that he loves to do, and he's going to start doing it. It's going to take him a while. He's going to build some classes and everything, but you got to like chickens too, right?
I love chicken.
Mm-hmm. But you got to like to be around them, and chickens to me are things, little varmints I kick as I'm going. Someone's showing me on their farm or something, because they're always in my way.
I mean, chickens are amazing. They have personalities. We had this one renter up in Toronto during COVID when Canada was even worse than we were for their lockdowns. And we delivered a chicken coop because agriculture business was still allowed to function up there as well as down here. Delivered chickens. And one thing they found was that when the lockdowns happened, their neighbors were walking by and they would stop and look at the chickens. And so the people there bought a bench and stuck it on their property. And
nice.
and people would sit there, they'd sit on the bench, they would watch the chickens during the day because, I mean, everybody was staying home. Nobody was going to work, right?
Right.
All that free money from the government, they just sat there and watched the chickens.
That's
people
hilarious.
really do. There's something about a chicken that's different. In fact, we had Homestead Ray Lee down in Nashville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. She delivered to the senior care facility. This is a pre-COVID story. We would walk in, we would give a presentation. Mm-hmm. And she was there, and this little old lady, we'll call her Martha. Martha was just talking up a storm, talking about how she had chickens when she was a kid and all this other stuff. And that was great. She set up the incubator, put the eggs in. As she was leaving, the staff goes, hold on one second. I need to talk to you, Ricky. And she's like, yeah, what? And the staff member goes, Homestead Ray Lee, Martha, who you were talking to, she's been here for 3 months. That is the first time she's spoken a single word.
Oh.
Yeah. Powerful. Yeah. Chickens are powerful.
Nice. So I came up with another idea.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, this is serious, because I was supposed to be doing some canning of beans.
Yes.
So and I was telling a guy we were going to do beans. He goes, man, he goes, my parents sell beans, and they live, in few states away, and he goes, and they sell them by the bushel. I'm like, man, I said, what they need to do is can the beans. And he goes, why would they do that? I said, because I promise you can sell the beans as a bushel, but if you sold them canned and ready to go, I think people would pay double the price.
You know what? I agree.
And he goes, what? I said, they would pay double the price if people trust them and they do a good job. Every prepper likes canned foods. We know that it's stores. We like, why not have a business?
Let's go to the next level, right? The prepper is gonna do it cheap, right?
Yes.
Listen, us preppers are
Yes.
cheap, right? If
Yes.
we can build an underground bunker for like $300 and actually live through it, we would. Right? Not many of us are going to drop 30.
It's a sewer pipe, I know, but it's round. I fit right in there. Go ahead.
Yes. But the city folks,
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones they're going to want those beans that were canned at the farm.
Yes.
They're going to spend $7 a pint
Yes.
for those beans that they sell for $7 a bushel.
Yes.
And there's probably about
it's a little bit more than $7 a bushel, but go ahead.
but there's probably like 70 pints in a bushel or more.
And so, the profit, you double your profit by doing, maybe even more.
Yeah. Maybe 10 times it.
Yeah. So,
absolutely. And anything that we can do in the country, city folks want a little bit of that country.
Yes.
That's why my program works so well in cities. City folks, they want to be a farmer. They want to be that hobby farmer. They want to. There is a guy. Listen to this business model. This is like New Jersey area, northern New Jersey. He puts in raised garden beds for people. Okay. He puts them in. He puts the soil in. He brings in the tomato plants. He plants the tomato plants, whatever it is that you're wanting. He comes in once a week and weeds them. When it's harvest time, he'll actually harvest them and stick them on a plate for you and stick them in your house. He charges like $8,000 a year to do like a 10 by 10 bed.
Dude, that's some serious profit.
He probably has $500 invested plus his time, right?
Right.
People forget your time. Like when I'm delivering chicken feed, I try to charge myself now. Maybe that I'm a little low on this, but when I'm trying to average it out, I'm like, look, when I'm delivering feed, I never want to make less than $20 an hour.
Right.
If I'm making $35 or $40 an hour, that's great. But I never want to make less than 20 an hour because I can do something else somewhere else, making more than 20 an hour somehow.
Right.
So figure out what it is for you individuals. Now, I'm probably getting all into your homestead-based business and November stuff, but hey, this is a preview, right?
No, this is great.
Everybody, if you're finding this exciting, it's going to get better in November. So make sure you tune back in.
Yeah.
But figure out what your minimum is that you want to make per hour, and make sure that you never go lower than that. And if you do, figure out why you did and how to get yourself above that dollar amount.
So I'm going to ask some personal questions. If you don't want to answer them, don't. I haven't warned you. We haven't talked really what we're going to talk about at all.
No, not at all.
So you and your wife, do you take like vacations, business vacations?
Absolutely. In fact, in January, we went on a cruise with a bunch of other Rent the Chicken people. So, and we talked about chickens on the cruise ship and we had fun. And we went on a chicken cruise on Carnival. You bet.
So that was totally tax-free money that you used in a sense, meaning your personal income tax, you didn't have to, you declared that as a business expense.
Yes. Because we had training on the ship.
Yes. So,
every day.
How about your cell phone? You use that for work?
Absolutely.
So people don't understand the power.
Write off that I can write off. I do. And I do everything by the book. I have a CPA. He corrects me when I'm wrong. I show things. I'm like, hey, what about this? And he goes, oh yeah, you can do that too. I'm in a 10% tax bracket.
Yes. That's because a lot of your expenses are paid by the business, which shows you make less profit.
I put 30,000 miles on a vehicle every year.
Wow.
30,000 miles is like writing $18,000 right off the top of my income or something like that. I don't know. There's probably a CPA here that can correct me. It's something crazy like that. And so, small businesses, home-based businesses, you get a write-off anything that you use for business.
Yes. And people don't understand the power of that because currently everyone that's listening or watching, they have a cell phone, they have a computer, they might need a new computer. You have car that you travel and do your little hobbies with. If you made that a business, all of a sudden, boom, the government will allow you to write that off.
If you currently make $50,000 a year, you're probably paying somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 in taxes between the state and the feds. At that 10% bracket, I'm paying, if that was my income, it'd be about $5,000 I'd be paying.
Right. Yeah.
All legal. I'm following the rules. I'm dotting my I's, crossing my T's. If I get audited tomorrow, I'm not worried. Here's the paperwork.
So I do rabbits for food.
Yeah. Meat rabbits. You bet.
We're going to call it not rent a rabbit. Bop a rabbit on the head.
Oh, I've got a better one. Okay.
Okay.
So since we have a hatching program, we can hatch different critters, right?
Okay. Okay.
My wife won't let me do this.
Okay.
I want to hatch turkeys, and I want to call it hatchet to hatchet.
Hatchet to hatchet. I get it. That is, yes. I'm not, turkey. So I want peacock on my farm.
Oh, those are expensive, by the way.
Yeah, but they protect a lot of things, I believe.
Yeah, peacock, just the single peacock sells for like $125.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yes. So you know what? If you can figure out a way to raise peacocks and sell them, I think people sell peacock eggs, no joke, for like $20 an egg. The reason why is it takes 2 years for a peacock to get mature enough to lay an egg, and they only lay, I don't know, like 1 or 2 dozen a year.
Dude, this is like class. Thank you, man. Hey, I've always wanted alpaca. That's what I always want.
I know nothing about alpacas.
I don't know either.
I went to a home and garden show, and somebody had 2 alpacas in the back of their Subaru, and they pull in there and they have them come. I don't know how it worked. Don't ask me.
A guy told me this one thing, and this is like 20 years ago. He said, Forrest, he goes, the reason I do alpaca is because I could have a $5,000 female and a $7,000 male, and they can make a $23,000 baby. And I'm like, what? Of course, they can make a $3,000 baby too.
That's right.
It all has to do with their count of their hair, all this kind of, and I'm like,
yes.
So anyway, I guess some socks I like. Some alpaca socks.
There's a question here about what kind of business is set up. Rent the Chicken. We are an LLC. And that's just that's how we've set up our business. You really need to talk to your CPA. My CPA has actually talked to me about maybe changing my business from an LLC to an S corp. And there were some reasons he wants me to consider doing that. I need to find some time and sit down and talk to him about how that transition happens. But have a good CPA that you trust, that's going to be with you there for years, and have them help you establish what type of business you want. And then when you go to set up your business, SBA.gov, you go to the SBA, you give them a call, you go to the local branch office, right? Everybody's like, oh, LegalZoom and all this other stuff. Pay $300 and they'll help you. No, the SBA does it for free. Your taxes already pay to keep the SBA open. I literally, my wife and I, we went to the local SBA office and we sat down with somebody at the SBA. They pulled out the papers. They helped us fill out the papers. And when we were done, at the bottom, it says, send a check to the state for 125, 75, whatever it was, dollars, and your business is set up. So I didn't pay all these crazy fees.
Right.
And I had everything set up. So talk to your CPA about what type of corporation you should have, and then utilize the SBA. Yeah,
that's good advice. I think I have a little bit on that in the book in there, but I'm not sure. But yes. Questions. Next question is, where are you going next? You going to grow? Where's Rent a Chicken going to be in 2 years?
Yeah.
Rent the Chicken. I always say rent a chickie.
It's okay. It's okay. Rent a Chicken went out of business. They were based out of Traverse City, Michigan. And but we're still here. So we're the ones that are around. Where are we going to be? We want to add on more farmers. That's the big thing. I've also been talking with some farmers in England that might want to, cross the pond with our business over in England. We are continuing to expand the chickennetwork.com business as well. We've got some other ideas. This is what happens. Out of every 100 ideas I have, I only tell my wife one of them because it's just gonna like. We thought about doing with this business. I don't think this is going to happen, but like this is the part of business ownership. And you even talk about, hey, sometimes you fail in your book, right? I wanted to add a garden package onto my chicken rental package, to where when you rent chickens, you add like a $500 raised garden bed to go with it. In fact, I found a company out of Tennessee. Hey, if you want to steal this idea, anybody that's watching, if you want to steal this idea, do it. It's called Green Stalk. It's a company in Tennessee. It's a U.S.-based company, Green Stalk, and they build these wonderful planters. If you buy enough of them, you could rent them out yourself or sell them, and like sell them as packages where you show up at somebody's house and you just set it all up. People will probably pay you like $400 just to set up a garden and plant their seeds for them. I know it sounds crazy, but Greenstock, definitely look at them. I've got one of their products because I wanted to test it out. But where are we going, right? Right now, we're really focused on expanding with additional farmers and partnering with additional farmers, because we've got people out there that are making bank with Rent the Chicken, especially in areas where you have access to 1 to 2 million people within like 50 miles in any direction.
So now, I mean, we're getting good time here, but please tell us. You can help people two ways. One is they can rent the chicken, or two, they can become a Rent the Chicken. Is affiliate. It a franchise affiliate? Okay. Yes. So if you would share like how that would work, how they contact you, and how I make money out of this.
Sure. So
I'm kidding.
First, you've got to get some chickens.
Okay.
And rent them out. Then you'll start making money off this. Rentthechicken.com. You can click on the button that says, hey, I business opportunity. It's kind of, if you're on a computer, it's on the right-hand side. If you're on a phone, scroll down to the bottom, fill out the form. We'll have a meeting. We'll do a Zoom meeting. I'll give you a presentation. But what we do here at Rent the Chicken headquarters, we answer all the inbound calls for sales and support. We provide you business training. Obviously, tonight I've talked a lot about business training. I've talked a lot about that type of stuff, right? So we reinforce that business training to help you grow your business to that next level. We have bi-weekly conference calls that you can be part of if you want to be. These are like mastermind sessions. We've got the foundation. We've got CRM set up. We've got a billing system where you charge people's credit cards through the online system. It goes directly into your bank account, not mine. We do charge a monthly fee to be part of Rent the Chicken for our services. It's a subscription fee. When you're starting out, it starts out at like $2,000 a year. So we're not talking a lot of money to get me involved in helping you build your business. But my goal is for you to be making sales 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe even $100,000 a year, right? That's what I want you to do. And if I can have, 40 farmers around that are billing out between $75,000 and $100,000 a year, man, that's awesome, because I'm helping you, right? And that's
so $100,000. Someone, they have a lot of chickens. They're working the business. That's a good look. That's a good home-based business.
Sure. And aside from the cost of a coop, now the first year, right, you've got to buy the coops. And so you really don't make a lot of money that first year with Rent the Chicken, right? But if I buy a $375, $400 coop, and I rent it out for $600, you can do the quick math. You're only going to make like $100 a coop that you rent out. But that second year, you don't have that $400 they have to invest. So now you're making like $400 or $500 a coop that you're putting out there. Multiply that by 80 coops at $500 in profit.
So just a quick question. Is it cheaper to buy the coop than just really make the coop? Because I would think that you think, oh, I'll make the coops, I'll save money. But in the long run, they're so mass produced and they look so
Yeah.
good.
You know what? The coops on the market
Uh-huh.
that are good, that would be good for renting out, start at like $1,000.
Hmm.
You can find coops for like $100, $200. They're junk. They're never going to last a season, right?
Yeah.
So I actually work with an Amish guy near Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, home of Punxsutawney Phil the groundhog, and he builds the coops, and then I sell them to our affiliates at cost. I'll stick them on a pallet. We'll have a freight company come in and ship them out to you and stuff like that. But I sell them at cost because I know that you're going to be renting them out. You're going to be making money, and the quality is better. I mean, we're talking. We take 2x4s. We take welded wire. Nothing's going to get in there. And the coops now that I have, I'm on like 4 years with. So I mean that coop has made me. Each coop has made me, I don't know, $1,800 a coop, and I've got 80 of them.
So in the wintertime, do you refurbish them? Paint them?
I will.
Yeah.
And then it's not that bad because the way that we assemble it, you can easily refurbish them. I personally, because of time, right? When you're a small business owner, you're always doing something. You don't always have time. I'll take the ones that need to get refurbished. I actually drive them to Punxsutawney and even with my Amish guy in November, and I say, I'll need these back in May. And then in May,
Right.
a little gremlin came through and fixed it.
Nice. So, so that is rentthechicken.com.
Yes.
And the great thing about what you're doing is, I mean, for one, there's two ways that people can get connected to you, meaning rent the chickens or a home-based business. But you also, which is so lacking, you mentor the people. You have calls with them. You have a master class. You have everything that they need. So if they had an IQ of like 70, they could probably give you a call. All they got to do is sales and marketing, right?
Yeah. So we even have yearly owners conferences where we'll get together for like one, maybe 2.5 days. And we have sessions where we talk about growing your business. So if you are someone that follows, somebody like Darren Hardy, for instance, or if you follow any of these entrepreneurs, or you've read the book E-Myth or any of this stuff, right? Eat That Frog, another great book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
Yeah.
We will actually sometimes in our training classes, we'll do a deep dive into sections of those books that I think are important or that I think people need to continue to grow on. And we go through, stuff like that. It really is the things that we teach. I should probably be charging a lot more than I currently do.
Right.
But my focus is chickens.
That's so huge. So if you're listening and you're like, well, this is kind of interesting. Imagine a small startup cost. I mean, you said maybe $2,000 your first year. Plus
So there's an initial fee that's anywhere from like $1,600 to $3,100.
Okay.
And then there's a yearly fee of about $2,000.
So, but what you
the
get,
initial fee counts like we're getting you equipment, we're getting
right.
you food, we're getting
you got to get started.
I don't really make a lot of money off that initial cost. I make a little bit, but the initial cost is really getting you ready and on the website and ready to go.
But the key is, it's like going to Shark Tank. You got you have to put some effort and start the business, but then you have a shark that is there teaching you along the way for the whole year, that is an expert in the business, that has all the supporting, everything you need, that allows you to do. That's all you got to do. You just got to do it. And so that aspect is priceless. Teaching someone how to do a home-based business.
And let me talk to you about Shark Tank.
Oh, maybe soon.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
We were filmed a few years ago, but they did not air our episode.
Oh.
And let me tell you this much: I learned so much. Like our business had almost like plateaued, and then after everything I had to do to prepare for that show, our business just went through the roof the next year, even though the episode was not aired, because we learned where we were lacking. So
I thought I saw Mark Cuban behind you a few minutes ago. Awesome. So rentthechicken.com, guys. What a great, I mean, you can literally pay for education because you'll get it throughout your experience working with Rent the Chicken.
And the things that you learn from us, you can apply to other businesses.
Right. Yes.
Not just us. Rentthechicken.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Well, Twitter, X. We call it X now.
X now.
At Rent the Chicken.
Rent the Chicken. And then my site will be the Gator Rental. Well, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
on that.
yes. I'm going to go buy alligatorrental.com next.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on. This is
Thanks,
excellent. This is going to be released in our podcast, and
awesome.
And what a great business and personality you are. I mean, you're like famous and everything. Thank you for coming on, taking time, and thanks for your kind words as well. So,
thanks
hey
for
everyone,
you're doing.
Yeah. So next week, guys, join us at 8:30 on PrepperNet YouTube channel. You'll find us. We'll see you at 8:30. That's Eastern time, if you're wondering. So
and get this book.
That's
buy this book right here.
So that's embarrassing, but it's called Entrepreneurship for Survival, and I wrote that. So anyway, thank you for saying that, and everyone, you guys have a good evening, and we will see you next week.
Be blessed.